One race remains on the season. Charles Leclerc has a 21-point advantage over Owen coming into a weekend where he originally thought he would be trailing Owen.
Heartbreaking, of course, for Owen, a gearbox failure with just over 2 laps to go while leading. It can't get much worse than that.
He needs a miracle this weekend in Brazil.
Our fate was determined in quite heartbreaking fashion last episode. Hello everybody, and welcome to the end, the final episode of the F1 23 driver career mode before F1 24 kicks off. I will have a F1 24 prologue that was recorded in F1 23 dropping on Monday, and then the career mode will officially kick off on F1 24 episode 1 starting Tuesday. So action-packed weekend and week here for some F1 content on the channel that I hope you guys are excited for now as we come through here focusing in on this weekend. It's not good. We're 21 points back. It was looking like we were going to be leading the championship coming into this Grand Prix over Charles Leclerc. Instead, we had a mechanical failure while leading with just 2.5 laps to go in Abu Dhabi. That puts us into a position where Charles Leclerc comes in with a 21-point advantage into this Grand Prix. How do we gain 21 points? It's simple. Our only option is winning this race. We are at, statistically, probably one of our best tracks. We know we're going to be a threat for pole. We know we're going to be a threat for the win. If Charles Leclerc finishes in 8th place, he will lock up the championship on a tiebreaker even if I won. Unless I get the fastest point and Leclerc finishes 8th or worse, we will win the title. It's going to be hard as Leclerc has finished 1, 2 so many times, first or second so many times this season, and last episode of course he only ended up 5th, so that gives us a chance here now, and actually rolling into Q2, a bit of an unexpected rain shower actually, and then it turns out it's going to rain for the rest of qualifying, so that's going to be an opportunity for myself. As you guys know, we have been always so strong in the rain. There's only been a few moments where we have kind of lagged pace in the rain this whole career mode. For the most part, this has been where we capitalize, where we pounce. So all of a sudden, we are definitely promoted to the favorite for pole position here today. We go top of the board in Q2 and it would stand. As you can see, Lando Norris out alongside Chadwick, Albon, Gasly, a bit of a surprise there, and Vesti as well. Rolling into Q3, the rain falling a little bit heavier, but still okay to be on the intermediate compound tire going out late in the session. What can we do now is we've been on pole here at this circuit before. We've had one pole this season, so of course not the flashiest, but looking for pole number 2 in the finale here. Can we pull it off now? Can we start from P1 in our final race? A bit of a moment of oversteer. We can correct it and just barely keep it on the track now, and that will allow us to still stay quite comfortably in the hunt for pole position as everyone's coming through now to start their final laps. We're going to be ending our lap a little bit sooner, but the rain continues to fall heavier and heavier, so I don't think anyone's going to gain pace now, so we might have a nice opportunity right here to actually get pole by a decent margin. Now we are 1.1 seconds up on 6th place of Russell already, and to the line, what is it going to be for the final race of our F1 23 career mode? It's going to be P1, pole position, and it would stand over Aiden Jackson, Leclerc, Dragovic, and Cali Mayer, your top 5. Behrman rounding out the top 10. The Connor Sport of Jack Doohan in P8. How about that? Things are looking good for what we are able to do. Now, before race weekend, Formula 2, the season finale for them, and Bianca Bustamante picks up the win. How about that? Awesome to see there. But Kimi Antonelli with P2 actually would wrap up the Drivers' Championship. Our drivers, Fornaroli ends up in 5th, while Browning down in P11. You see the rest of the order on your screen. As our first season as a Formula 2 owner, saw some highs, some lows. We unfortunately did not get to experience a win, but now let's go try to win in Brazil.
Formula One returns to Interlagos once again with the stage set for what promises to be another classic Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel famously clinched his 3rd championship here in 2012, and just 4 years later, Max Verstappen treated us to one of the finest wet weather drives of all time. We're racing today then at Interlagos, a historic 2.7-mile circuit and one of the few anti-clockwise tracks on the calendar. 15 corners in total, 9 to the left and 6 to the right, with a technical middle section opening up to a flat-out Sector 3. That gives us our best passing opportunity down into Turn 1. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Golden Boy lines up on pole position, and it's Aiden Jackson alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Drugovic, Mayer, Russell, Yuri Vips, Doohan, a Ferrari, Behrman, Norris, Chadwick, Albon, Gasly, Vesti, Maloney, Sonoda, Oscar Piastri, Liam Lawson, and Mick Schumacher. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. And joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. The last few races have been a bit rough for them, unable to get a clean run. That's got to have some effect on their confidence, surely.
Certainly confidence is an important factor. And every time you're involved in an incident, it's not just the car you damage, but that confidence as well. But all the top racing drivers are able to tune that out when the race gets underway and focus on the job at hand.
One race remains. The strategy, simple. It's been the common strategy as of late. Mediums to hards. And all we can do is try to win this race. That's our only option, and hope for the best. Hope for a miracle as we're ready to roll.
The formation lap gets underway here in Brazil. Some memorable moments in history have come from this very circuit. Will we be treated to another today? Well, let's find out.
Yuri Vips as well. Jack Doohan, the Ferrari driver, and the Connor Sport, both on the softs. They elect for the two-stop strategy. We've seen Vips do the two-stop probably more than anyone else this year.
So as all the cars reform the grids, the drivers will be hoping to get a strong start. They'll want to earn some valuable points from today's race, with final communications being done with their race engineers, ensuring the planned strategies are all in place.
Okay, Gary, good luck today. Sorry it hasn't quite worked out the way we wanted again. Let's hope for a miracle.
Yep, 10-4. Thanks, Christian, for the hard work and everyone else on the team this year and our whole time together. Let's end on a high note. If we don't win the championship, we stick with Red Bull into the ending career mode and don't go to the BMW team with Fernando Alonso as team principal. We're ready to roll here. Leclerc starting P3. We need to hope for 8th or worse for Leclerc. It's lights out and we're racing. The series finale is underway and it's a slow start for Aiden Jackson. Unfortunately, the wrong McLaren Toyota as Leclerc is already pouncing on us from second position. As you can see, our teammate Felipe Drugovic, of course, in his home race, P4, a decent start for him. Leclerc pouncing with that basically unlimited battery, blows past me. He takes the lead here in the season finale in Brazil. He wants to win the championship and he wants to do it in winning fashion with a win in the season finale. 36 laps of racing. We know this is a track that suits our strengths. It has all career mode. It's been perfect for us. We have, of course, not had the last 2 times that we've come here in the season finale. It hasn't quite worked out for us, as actually I pick up a warning for exceeding track limits, but overall, I know this car is going to be good in the long run. How about Yuri Vips and Jack Doohan? They both got into the top 5 on that start. Jackson was slow and that kind of messed up a lot of cars in the process as well, as we continue to just try and stick with Leclerc. We know as the run goes longer, we are going to probably have enough pace to get past Charles Leclerc. Obviously, as I've said, the only way we can win this championship is if we win this race, get the fastest lap, and Leclerc finishes 8th or worse. Now, we don't need the fastest lap if we win and Leclerc finishes 9th or worse, but if he's 8th, we need the fastest lap. So that is really the target that we're aiming for. 8th place for Leclerc and a win in the fastest lap for us here. Now, last episode, Leclerc ended up P5 with a mechanical issue for the majority of that Grand Prix, and that, put everything into the hands of us. We were favored tremendously until we weren't, of course, with the gearbox failure. But now here we are putting some pressure on the back of this McLaren. We have DRS and we're not quite close enough to make a move starting lap 5 of 36, but we're certainly close enough to put the pressure on and make Leclerc well aware that we are filling up the rear view mirrors here now as we continue lap 5 to 6 now down towards turn 1 again, looking for a move. We'll go alongside into turn 1 there. Leclerc not going to allow it to happen. Very close quarters there, trying to avoid avoid contact there, but we do collide just a tad bit as we continue following him through turn 4 right on the back of this McLaren driver. Now we are ready to pounce and we're ready to take the lead of this Grand Prix.
Okay, Leclerc has an issue again. Get after it. This could be our chance.
Leclerc, 2 episodes in a row, a mechanical issue now. Is this the opportunity we've been looking for? It might not be over yet. Do you believe in miracles? I don't know if I do, but we might today because Leclerc has an issue, and on the front straightaway, with the DRS assistance, we should be able to breeze past him. We go alongside, he's still got solid straight line speed actually into turn number 1. We lunge deep into the corner, turn into the corner, contact between myself and Leclerc. He saves it there, but I don't know if I turned in on him. We'll take an immediate look. Oh, that's a tough one to call there, but we nonetheless come out with the lead. Leclerc with an issue, and now a crash, a big crash in the season finale. Norris is out in the Lamborghini. A couple of cars of Piastri and Maloney pile in as well, and the safety car, and now red flag will strike in the series finale. Unbelievable scenes, and that only helps the McLaren as they have more time to work on fixing that issue. And you see the replay with Norris, who just simply loops it in Alex Albon fashion, who's all the way down to 17th, by the way, and wow, Piastri and Maloney just pile in. So here's the situation. We're going to be starting on softs for this restart, and we'll be going to mediums, basically, for the final stop. So we could maybe try a one-stop, but not going to, and I don't expect anyone else to. So now, this might be the final start of our F1 23 career. Here we go in control of this Grand Prix, and we've jumped the start. I jumped it. As that happens, Leclerc with a terrible start on the run into turn 1. McLaren have not fixed his issue yet, and he gets a poor start off the grid. He's trying to hang on for 4th, trying to keep in front of George Russell, and he does. He maintains 4th, but now what is going to happen with Leclerc, as it appears maybe they actually do have the issue fixed, and it was just a really bad start. We'll have to wait and see, but obviously the damage is done. An embarrassing mistake from myself. The first time ever in the F1 23 driver career mode where I jump a start, and it's literally the last one. That is quite embarrassing. And the thing is, we're gonna have to come in and serve this black flag immediately. We have 3 laps to do it. Let's just do it now. Let's just get it out of the way and just, qualifying laps from this point on. We have enough time. It's relatively early as I nearly spin it out coming into the pit entry, but we have enough time here. I am confident, even without a safety car. I mean, look at this. We're going to come out in decent time. We're not terribly far back. I think we can still win this Grand Prix. It's not over. We have really good pace in this track. We've always been quick around Sao Paulo, around this Brazilian, circuit. So I'm confident we can keep that pace up and still find ourselves in the mix. Charles Leclerc, unfortunately for us, is flying. What a whirlwind of events in the opening 10 laps of this final Grand Prix here in F1 23, and we're 4.6 seconds back from Liam Lawson. By the end of the lap, we're 4.2 seconds back, and we're just going to continue to close in on them and everybody. But Charles Leclerc is now up in the battle for second, so clearly they've gotten the issue fixed there at McLaren for him, and he's about to take P2 from Yuri Vips here, probably within the lap now. As you can see on the track map, though, look at Dragovic. He is gone. He has suddenly become one of the favorites to win. He won the season opener, and we still don't know his future at Red Bull. It's going to be determined in the offseason. That doesn't exist, but Leclerc, sure enough, to P2 as we are setting blistering lap times. Fastest lap of the race, and now we have closed in finally on the back of this group of cars here, the back of the field, I should say, now, as we're all over the back of Yuki Tsunoda in that BMW, as we're right to the rear wing, now looking for an opportunity. This is where it always takes place right here. You get right here tucked up behind them, and then what you want to do is just wait, pounce right here into the right-hander, sail it off into the corner, and just take that spot and run with it. Now Liam Lawson up next now, as it looks like it's certain that we won't be going to that BMW Andretti team next season with Fernando Alonso. Instead, we're going to be sticking with Red Bull, of course, considering that it's still going to take a full-blown miracle. Look at this late lunge here up the inside of Mick Schumacher. It's been a disappointing return to Formula 1 for him now. I would have loved to have seen it gone better, as now here we go to the right side of Frederick Vesti. We are flying through this field. The pace is great there. Nearly contact, actually, with Vesti. And when I turned into that corner, nearly ran into Vesti. That kind of solidified my thoughts that contact with Leclerc earlier, I think, was probably my fault and actually not his, as I thought he was kind of a bit wide on the apex, but I actually think I was the one that took a bit of a shallow entry now looking back at it. But lap 14 of 36, we've still got plenty of time, over 20 laps of racing to go, and we are flying. Now, the difference maker is, okay, Leclerc's driving away from third place. He's running down Drugovich, it appears. So if those two can get together in battle, I think that's our ticket to get ourselves into the battle for the win of this race. I think if they just run like they are right now, we won't even be in the conversation. I think we can get third because you can see Russell in the Mercedes is holding back everybody right now. So that's perfect for us. But yeah, second and first are going to have to start fighting each other if we're going to fight ourselves into that battle. Now, here we go, passing Jack Doohan in that Connor Sport McLaren Toyota powered machine. Contact into turn 1, but it's fine. We get through into the top 10 here on lap 17. 20 laps to go in Brazil. And now we roll up to the back of Jarno Opmeer. Of course, he's ran the last half of the season, and I would say he's done a superb job going from sim test driver for Ferrari to actual driver for that team. It's been a solid run for Opmeer, but we would pass him, and now we were closing in on Pierre Gasly there, and maybe not the season finale he was hoping for. Now we have expected more out of him now, and as well the Constructors battle. Of course, McLaren locked it up a while ago, and it's been a battle between Red Bull Audi and Mercedes, but right now it's all going towards Red Bull Audi. We will get P2 in the Constructors, unless basically both cars DNF today now, as we're going to go for that move up the inside of Gasly. Of course, I'm driving a lot more aggressive than I usually do, and I've driven a lot more aggressive this season in general in attempts to, of course, try and, well, win races and fight for the championship. Pit stop's underway now. We're up to P5 because of Leclerc, Russell, as well as Yuri Vips, or sorry, not Vips, but Opmeer have all pitted, but now we're up to the back of Oliver Behrman. It's been an incredible season for us. We have had a season high, or a career season basically now. I mean, we have won not as many races as we have last season, but we've had less races, of course, but things have just been great for us this season. A lot of consistency up until last episode with that mechanical failure. Our worst finish before that was P5, but Leclerc has just been more consistent. We're going into the pits now for the double stack. Drugovich had just pitted, and we're going to come in ourselves, take the softs off, put on the mediums, and just hammer time basically for the rest of this Grand Prix. Just send it and hope for the best now. I wouldn't mind a safety car. Things aren't looking good in terms of a championship, obviously. Drugovich is going to be the leader. Leclerc will be P2. And obviously that means it's impossible for us to win, and unless he has a mechanical failure, it's not going to happen. A big move there, an unexpected move on Yuki Tsunoda. We breeze past him back into the top 10. It's game on. We know we can get to P3 with how much they're holding each other up and fighting for P3, so that's not even going to be a contest. It's all about first and second. While they get together and while they start to battle, I expect Drugovich and hope Drugovich is going to fight hard here. Now, Schumacher into the pits at the end of this lap, and now we're to the back of Callie Mayer. It's been a heck of a career in F123 for Callie Mayer. I don't know if she's going to be in F124 like at all, but if she is, I would love to expand her storyline into that game as well. I love it bringing in the female representation into the F1 career mode. I think it's something that deserves more recognition, and I think we've done a solid job kind of introducing that in this game, and I would love to expand upon that going into the next game. But we'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens there with basically what drivers are in the game from the pool of drivers now. As we continue in 5th place, George Russell in 4th, Jackson in 3rd, and you can see on the track map Leclerc is closing in on Felipe Drugovich, so it's about to be game on, which is perfect for us, and we still have just over 10 laps of racing. We need to pass Russell, we need to pass Jackson, and then it's game on, get going, and just try to make something happen here out of an up and down day. Now, of course, that just hasn't worked out the way we had hoped. Now, around the outside of Russell, we leave him plenty of room on the inside, but we get around him anyways. P4, but you can see now Leclerc 8 seconds up the road. We know we're just faster in general than all the other cars, but we're not fast enough to gain 8 seconds without some fighting up there, so they are going to have to scrap it up. As you can see now, closing in on the back of Aiden Jackson. I expect Jackson to put up a bit of a fight, but just look at the advantage advantage we have. We are absolutely flying now to the back of Jackson here in that McLaren Toyota. We should be able to get him right here on the exit of this right-hander. We'll dive one up the inside. There we go. Wheel to wheel, axle to axle. Now, as we're going to be side by side into the left-hander still, Jackson a bit wide, runs into our left rear contact. He backs out of it there. Quite good sportsmanship level from Jackson. Runs into us, backs out of it, says it's all yours. We continue on. So shout out to Aiden Jackson's AI. Now we continue. P3, 7.9 seconds to Leclerc, 8.7 to Drugovich. But Leclerc has run him down. 10 laps to go. Let's go through the grid for the final time.
Our final through the grid. And what a journey it has been, Martin. What a race it has been as well. Drugovich out in front of a chasing Leclerc, who's just hoping for no issues here.
Owen has had a career season, but sadly for him, Charles has had an even better season than Owen. His only hope is Leclerc has some kind of issue. As we see, Owen has incredible pace, as he always does here.
Pierre Gasly with a bit of a disappointing end to his season, just inside the top 10 currently. Oliver Behrman 9th and Jarno Opmeer runs in 10th.
A respectable season from Behrman, really. I can't wait to see what he does next year. He is proving he can compete on a regular basis now, and I expect podiums in his future.
Alex Albon runs 12th, as it isn't official, but sounds more likely that he will be leaving the sport at the end of the year. We will know for sure in the coming weeks.
Lots of silly season on the way.
You see the battles all around this circuit, but Charles Leclerc is now all over the back of Felipe Drugovich. Now, through the grid, I haven't really gained a whole lot. I've gained about a second. So, clearly there's a lot of gains for us to make. But now they're about to start battling. That is going to be perfect. I mean, just about any time they get side by side, it's like a free ticket to gain a full second. Leclerc and Drugovich would have a battle, which would put Leclerc now out in front of this race. So Drugovich down to P2, but during that I was able to gain a good chunk of time, and I'm hoping they're going to fight again here now. But we are still closing in on these two drivers. They would actually get caught up a little bit behind a lap car that you can see just in front of myself. Can't quite tell who that is from here. One of the BMW Andretti machines. But now they're side by side again into turn 4. They continue to fight, and that's going to allow me to close in again. Drugovich back to the lead of this Grand Prix here in Brazil, but another second loss. Suddenly we're within 2.5 seconds. We've driven away from Russell and Jackson. Jackson's fading. He's down to 5th, 10 seconds back. Russell 8 seconds back, but we are reeling these guys in. We've had the pace all race long. Every time we come to Brazil, we're the quickest driver, and we're proving it here today with a miraculous drive in our final race in F1 23. 3 to go once we come back around to the line, and now we're in striking distance of Leclerc. He needs to have something go wrong. That's the only chance we have to win the championship. We need to win fastest lap, 8th or worse for Leclerc. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. It wasn't meant to be. Leclerc has waited longer than me to win a championship in Formula 1. But I certainly want it more right now than Charles Leclerc, but there's nothing we can do. We're staring at the back of something we just can't change. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. We come to 2 laps to go, slipping and sliding on the exit of the left-hander there to come down to this front straightaway, so we give up some time to Leclerc, but we know we're going to gain it back. He's all over the back of Drugovich here in Sector 1. 2 laps remain in our career mode here. I appreciate you all sticking around, watching this career mode from start to finish, and now a final move on Leclerc. That might be the final move we make in this career mode. Drugovich comfortably out in front. Do we have enough time to get him here now as he's trying to win the season opener and the season finale? Leclerc, white flag in the air, back up my inside into turn 1. He briefly gets clear, but we fight back around the outside. Close quarters racing, and that makes it official. The AI, they're not really going to have an issue on the final lap. This is it. Leclerc with another lunge into turn 4, and he has a lot more to lose than we do, and you can tell he doesn't force the issue. And that's going to be it, unless Drugovich has a bit of a slip up. We've got good pace, but 0.7 of a second, it's going to be hard to make up at this point now as these tires continue to wear. What a season, what a career in F1 23, and it's all coming to an end. We fought all career mode long to win a championship. We had opportunities and they slipped away in the same race every time, the penultimate round. Our third chance to win a championship, and it comes to an unfortunate end. We're close to Drugovich, but not close enough. Out of this final turn, we already know he's got us because of the infinite battery down this front straightaway. Thank you all for the support in this F1 23 career mode from start to finish. It wasn't meant to be for a world title. Drugovich wins the Grand Prix, P2 for us in the Grand Prix, and in the championship. And Charles Leclerc is officially and finally a Formula One world champion. He went through the ups and downs more than we ever did, that is for sure. He struggled at Ferrari. He held on as long as he could. He finally pulled the plug and he went to Trackhouse Racing, a new American team that came into the sport, and there was moments of hope, but there was never enough to materialize a championship run there for Leclerc. And he finally got a second opportunity after Alex Albon struggles at McLaren. He departed to Ferrari. Leclerc hops over into the McLaren, and it turns into one of the most incredible seasons I've seen in this career mode. Leclerc finished first or second pretty well out of the 16 races. I think like 13 rounds it was. He finished first or second. Unbelievably dominant. We had the most consistent season of our F1 career, but we had a worse finish of 5th a couple of times, and Leclerc just never finished that bad outside of Abu Dhabi or the mechanical failure in China. It wasn't meant to be. Leclerc had something we didn't. We gave it everything. We were in position, and I think the hardest part to swallow here is if we didn't have that mechanical failure, the gearbox failure. Last episode, we were leading with 2.5 laps to go in Abu Dhabi. We would have won that race. We would have taken the championship lead, and clearly we beat Leclerc today. We would have been world champion without that gearbox failure in the last episode. I could have scripted it. I could have turned off mechanical failures, but that just does not feel genuine. It doesn't feel right, doesn't feel proper, and I wanted to continue to keep the unknowns and the uncertainties of Formula One, in here until the very end, even if that meant losing our last chance at a championship in heartbreaking fashion. I'm sorry I couldn't get you guys a driver's championship before the career mode came to an end. It is what it is. We end up second in the driver's standings, second in the constructors standings. Our final season statistics here, you will see on your screen to end the video. 4 wins, 2 for Drugovich, of course, and 2 poles, 1 pole for him. We dominated him on points, and of course in the championship, second, P6 for Drugovich. Now his future uncertain. Our future remains with the Red Bull Racing team. That wraps it up, the final ever episode here of F1 23 Driver Career Mode. Thank you all from start to finish for the support. I truly do appreciate it. I will be dropping the F1 24 Career Mode Prologue in probably about 24 hours from now, so I hope you guys are looking forward to it. Thank you one more time, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.